You can, yeah.
Okay, because I just don't want people like raising their hands, being in the room, and they need to know that they're not allowed to, we're not.
It's not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing, and this is our time to discuss the bills that we have in front of us. Okay.
All right, we're ready to go.
Welcome, everyone. I am Senator Sharon Carson from District 14. Today, we will be holding a meeting of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Before we get started, I'll read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting we are holding is in compliance with the right to know law. As chair of the Judiciary Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that, 1, we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the committee and selected legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in this meeting through this platform. And the public has access to contemporaneously watch and or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube and via phone by following the directions and links provided on the General Court website. 2, we have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. 3, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate@leg.state.nh.us or call area code 603-271-6931. 4, in the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. 5, please note all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by a roll call vote. Before that happens, before we actually get started, I'd also like to announce that this is an executive session, and during an executive session, we do not take additional testimony from the public. So I want to make sure that people understand that this is the time for the committee members to discuss with each other what they believe should happen to a piece of legislation. So if you raise your hand, you want to speak, please understand that that is not allowed during an executive session. So finally, let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state where they are and if anyone else is in the room with you during the meeting, which is required under the right to know law. I will call the roll. Senator Gannon?
I am Senator Bill Gannon in Sandown. I do have 2 Timberlane students who are home and may walk through during their Zoom and my Zoom here, but hopefully not.
Thank you. Senator French?
Harold French, Senator District 7, in my home in glorious Canterbury, New Hampshire, alone, safely.
Senator Khan?
Present in Keene in my home. No one else is present. Good afternoon.
Senator Whitley?
Good afternoon. This is Senator Whitley in my home in Hopkinton. I'm alone in the house because my husband is actually at the polls where he's on the ballot for his 3rd term on the Hopkinton Select Board, or 2nd term on the Hopkinton Select Board for a 3-year term.
No campaigning in committee.
Just spousal support.
Yes, and I'm again Senator Carson. I am at my home in Londonderry. I am currently alone, but I expect my husband to be coming through sooner or later. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm sure all of you have a copy of the master sheet. You can see that we have a number of pieces of legislation that we're going to be dealing with today. The first bill we're going to take up is CACR 12. And is there a motion on CACR 12?
Motion to ITL.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Senator Gannon moves ITL, seconded by Senator French. Is there any discussion? Senator Gannon?
Thanks, Madam Chair. It's hard to tell people when it's their time to go. 70, you're still at your peak. It's sort of like watching Brady. He's good. I wouldn't want to set an age on him, but I'd say 50 would be it. He's going to get hurt. But there are plenty of young lawyers like Senator Whitley who are ready, willing, and able, and I can see them. I can see her on the bench someday. Perkins, Quokka. There are just so many young, vibrant people. Rather than wait till someone's time has passed and slowing down a little. The other thing is, systemically, I looked at our bench the other day, and it stands out that it's very white, very mix of male and female, but there are no minorities on our bench. I'd love to give the governor a chance to address that and maybe have it look a little bit more like the faces of our country. So I think it's time to move some judges along. It's never going to be a good time. Senator Guida was an airline pilot. They said at 60 and he's like, I'm still good. But he realized it's better to go when you're at your peak than wait. So I think with the huge 15, 16,000 lawyers in the wings, ready, willing, and able to move ahead, that we should move ahead and give, look at Ode to the Grecian Urn. You got to know when it's your time. And no one ever does. So by having a time that way, we don't have to try to go to it. No one's going to say to a judge, you're a little slower, you made a mistake. It's just not the way. So at the age of 70 is a great time.
Hey, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Senator Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to voice that I disagree with my colleague. I think we need some kind of age limit. I don't know where to set it. I don't know, but you know, this is not the most lucrative career move for people to move into judgeships, and when they're vacant, they do not get filled. We're not just talking about Supreme Court. We got to look through all of the appointed justices through our system. The system isn't working. You get vacancies and they sit vacant. In fact, we write into the budget that you've got to hold a certain number of vacancies in the courts, and it's by dint of somebody having had to retire. People take these positions late in their career, and you know, you just start to get going, and then you're left with no judge at all. So I think we don't have this right, and we're going to need some guidance as to how we move forward. This may not be the way to do it through constitutional amendment, but we need to come back to this issue, and I look forward to another discussion with this committee to try to get a piece of legislation that we can all support. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Khan. Are there any further comments or discussion on the ITL motion on CACR 12? Senator Whitley?
Yeah, I would say I think this is worthy of discussion, particularly when we have lifetime appointments for judges. And so I think there's still some open questions for me about what that right number is. And so, I, at this point, will be supporting the ITL, but just so we can continue to have that conversation with lots more stakeholders about the appropriate age.
Okay. Are there any further comments? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
Yes.
And Senator Carson? Yes.
I move consent.
Okay, we have a motion for the consent calendar. Okay, is there any discussion? Is there a second? Senator Gannon seconds. Is there any discussion on the consent motion?
I will be voting against.
Against the consent, okay?
I would like the opportunity for the sponsor to speak to this.
Okay, that's fine. You do realize, Senator, even if we voted consent, that any senator can pull a bill off the consent calendar and discuss it. So you are aware of that. Okay, great. So we have a motion. We'll go through the roll call. The motion is the consent calendar. Senator Whitley.
Yes.
Okay. Senator Gannon.
Yes.
Senator French.
Yes.
Senator Khan.
No.
And Senator Carson, yes. So the consent motion fails. Senator Gannon, would you like to be responsible for the floor comments?
Sure.
Okay. One down. That's a good thing. Next, we're going to take up Senate Bill 39. We do have an amendment by Senator Gannon. And I think all of you have got that. So Senator Gannon, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Give me 10 seconds. I'm sorry. I was still thinking about the last bill.
Okay, that's okay.
Would you like me to pull it up on screen, Senator?
Sure.
Yeah,
It's really
that's fine.
short. Did we have a motion that we might do, Madam Chair, and we weren't going to get into this, or am I out of order?
Well, there is a motion, but I didn't know if you wanted to introduce your
Sure, I
amendment.
can. Sure. I
And then
felt.
we can,
Sure. It's the personal records. I felt that a police officer's records, especially after the point we've discussed many times that there's like preliminary information, before he becomes a police officer. There's information when he becomes, that's where he lives, just basic background information on him. Then there's information that happens once that he's in as an officer, things that happen while he's on the job. My contention is that though I want things to be under the light of day, I don't want just stray accusations to ruin someone's life and career. So I had a bill that was it would only be after a sustained finding at a hearing would something go public on someone's record. I know a lot of police this summer whose families have had to pull all their information off the web. They've sort of went into seclusion and hiding. And again, if you are a public figure when you're out there doing your job, and if you do something wrong, it should come out. But it should really be, I want to be certain that you really did something wrong. Otherwise, we're going to encourage people when they're arrested to just throw out stray accusations against police. And I think we owe it to the men in blue to protect them a little bit. And that's about it.
okay, thank you, Senator Gannon. Okay, Jenny, can we go back to the other screen, please? Okay, so we have a proposed amendment by Senator Gannon. I didn't write the number down, Jenny. I should have.
0554.
0554. Okay, is there a motion on this amendment?
Well, I'd make the motion.
Okay, so you make the motion of ought to pass.
Yes.
Okay, is there a second on the ought to pass?
Bummer. I've never had that before.
Okay.
Oh, I have get
no-
used to it.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'd like to do with this amendment, with this bill, is I'd like to move to retain this bill have the bill re-referred back to the committee.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, seconded by Senator French, and I'll explain why. On the face of this is a complicated issue concerning police records. And the question is, how do you actually open them up? Because it's not only affecting the police records, but it's affecting every municipal employee, every state employee. And I don't think that that's where we really want to go. I think we have to be very, very careful when we do this. The testimony that we heard is that especially police records are divided into 3 different parts. The first part is their pre-employment record. Should the public have access to their pre-employment record, which would include their school records, their health records prior to employment, their fingerprints, if applicable. I mean, there's a lot of things in there, and should the public have access to that part of the record? The second section is their personnel record with their personal information, where they live, who their family members are, what type of healthcare insurance they have, whether or not someone's divorced, single, whether or not they're required by the court to pay child support payments. Are those things, what is the public interest in knowing that type of information? I think what people really want to get to, based on the information that we had, is the disciplinary record. That's what people would like to get access to. So how do we do that? And so I would like to retain this bill so we can figure out a way how we can do that, that protects any municipal employee, any police officer, firefighter, any first responder, anyone that works for a municipality or the state, to protect their privacy, but also balancing that with the public's right to know. And I think this bill, I filed it as a first attempt to begin the conversation, and I think the conversation needs to continue. So if we can retain this bill, it will give us an opportunity to work with this over the summer and through the fall, meet with the parties that this is going to affect, and take additional testimony and see if we can come up with some sort of resolution. Senator Whitley?
Thanks, Senator Carson. Thank you, Madam Chair, and Senator Carson, for wanting to continue the conversation, because I did have concerns about any bill or any amendment that would overturn the Provenza case that went through the Supreme Court this summer. Right, we know that that courts are beginning to apply this balancing test, and I think we need to give the court the opportunity to do that. And as you mentioned, the notion of this balancing test, that really wasn't the subject of the public hearing, and I think you're correct that it really deserves more public input and inquiry. And then on the transparency issue, which is so incredibly important, in this moment in history, I think we need to err on the side of transparency. That's where I start the conversation, balancing those very valid concerns that were raised about disclosure. But I think, in terms of police officers, I do question whether they should be entitled to an extra sort of layer of secrecy or privacy that others in the criminal justice system, like lawyers, judges, defendants, that they don't enjoy. So I really want to explore that issue a little bit more about why is it that police officers would need this extra layer of secrecy not provided to other parties in the criminal justice system. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Are there any further comments about the retained motion? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
Yes.
Senator Carson? Yes. So we have voted to retain this. Is there a motion for the consent calendar? Senator Whitley moves the consent calendar. Is there a second? Senator
Second.
French? Okay, thank you. Is there any comments on the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
Yes.
And Senator Carson? Yes. And I will do the remarks on this one, Jenny. Okay. Next, we have Senate Bill 40, an act relative to informed consent to search a motor vehicle. And we have a proposed amendment, which is amendment number 0393S. And I will turn it over for discussion to Senator French, because this is his amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm bringing forward amendment 0393S, as you stated. This is an add-on to this bill as it is. This was, oh, you got it there, good. This was asked by the courts to make warrants more easily accessible. And it's to change it to read written under a statement written under oath instead of having it notarized, and it's just to streamline their process. I think it's a good idea and was willing to add it on to this bill.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator French. Jenny, can we go back to all of us? Okay, so is there a motion on amendment number 0393S?
I move on to pass.
Okay, Senator French moves ought to pass. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Khan. Okay, discussion. I hope everyone can see what Senator French has done. And from what I understand, Senator French worked with the court, which is always a good thing to do. And so what it just basically says is they sign a written statement that they're signing under oath and that what they're attesting to is true. And it's signed under the penalty of perjury. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Khan. We're in the voting mode. Can you hold your question till we get to the bill as if this passes?
Right, we're voting on the amendment.
Yes, just the amendment. Okay. Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Okay. Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
Yes,
And Senator Carson, yes. Okay, can I get a motion on the bill as amended?
I move on to pass as amended.
Okay, Senator French moves on to pass as amended. Is there a second? Senator Khan. Okay. Is there a motion? Excuse me. Is there any discussion on the bill as amended?
I thank Senator French for moving forward with, he's responded to the testimony that we heard.
Mhm.
Appreciate his efforts.
Okay, so we have an ought to pass as amended motion. I will call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes,
and Senator Carson, yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by Senator French. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Whitley. Okay, is there any discussion on the consent motion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan, Senator Khan,
yes.
okay, and Senator Carson, yes. Senator French, since this is your bill, would you like to do the floor remark?
Sure, be happy to.
Okay, thank you.
Jen?
Okay, hey, we're busy. Okay, next we're going to move on to Senate Bill 41, an act relative to police disciplinary hearings. There are no amendments on this, so can I get a motion on Senate Bill 41?
Move on to pass.
Okay,
Second.
Senator French moves on to pass and seconded by Senator Whitley. Is there any discussion of the bill? Okay, seeing no discussion, I think the bill is very self-explanatory. I just had a question and a concern about who got to determine what the compelling interest was. And that determination, if you read through everything, will be made by the police standards and training. And I'm comfortable with that. Senator Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering that after police standard and training would do that review, is there an appeal? Is there a court appeal, and to where would that court appeal be made?
I don't know, Senator Khan. Mr. Lehman, do you have any comments about this at all?
Yes, I would suspect that the Superior Court would find it as jurisdiction to determine whether the police standards and training engaged in the correct balancing and to review that decision. It seems to me that it's a lot like challenging a right to know decision, which also involves balancing, where the party in possession of the thing in question makes the initial determination, but the Superior Court can overrule that determination.
Thank you for that parallel, and I appreciate that.
Okay, so we have an ought to pass motion on Senate Bill 41. Is there any further comments on Senate Bill 41? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
And Senator Carson, yes. Okay, it's 5 to
Move
nothing.
consent.
Okay, Senator French moves consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Is there a second? Is there a second on the consent calendar motion? I
Yes,
will, okay, did somebody, was that you, Senator Gannon?
it was, but whatever.
Okay,
Either way.
so is there any discussion on the consent calendar motion?
I-
Senator Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a pretty important item. I know that we're in agreement here, but this might be worthy of somebody taking it out, making it clear to our body that what the process is on disciplinary hearings. Just rather than have this as a consent item, it might be worthy of the small amount of time that we give to it.
Okay, thank you. So we have a consent calendar motion. Are there any further questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes,
Senator French,
Yes,
Senator Khan?
Okay, yes, just because Senator French has given me this eye.
Okay, and Senator Carson, yes. And Senator French, would you like to do this one as well?
I sure would. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna keep you busy.
Thank you, Senator Khan.
Okay, next, we're going to go to Senate Bill 60 FN. We do have an amendment, which is amendment number 2021. This was an amendment by Senator Gannon. Jenny, if you want to put that one up, so the public will have an opportunity to look at it. And then we will, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Gannon to explain his
I
amendment.
think it was 246S, but I don't have glasses, so maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Okay,
Number. Anyways, it was just a clarification. Stakeholders wanted marijuana to be, they wanted it to be in a different way. Cannabis type drug is how they wanted it referred to. And I was totally amenable to that.
okay.
Just a clarification.
Thank you, Senator Gannon. Okay, Senator Khan, you moved. I was just surprised. I saw you standing up. Okay, so we have,
And bigger.
I have I'm sorry, 0246S, I read the wrong number. Is there a motion on this amendment?
Yes, ought to pass.
Okay, we have an ought to pass motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, although I'll be voting against the underlying bill amended.
Okay, thank you. So is there any discussion on the amendment? The only thing that I will say, we had received information from Mr. Holt, who runs the medicinal marijuana program for the state. And he had asked us to change one of the references to come in line with the other laws that deal with medicinal marijuana. And that was RSA 318B:1, section 4. And Senator Gannon did that in his amendment. So are there any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
On the amendment, yes.
Yes. Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes,
Senator Khan? Can't
Yes.
hear you. Okay, and Senator Carson? Yes. Okay, can I get a motion on the bill as amended?
yes, I move ITL.
Second.
Okay, Senator French moves ITL. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Whitley. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, Senator Gannon?
I brought the bill forth on behalf of the police chiefs and a few other law enforcement agencies. They said they were having a problem with different types of open containers. So we wanted the idea, they had gummy bears, people were passing them while they were driving, saying, I don't have it, it's not mine, or other forms of cannabis products. So we wanted to bring this in line exactly the same as we do and treat it like alcohol. If you have an open container, you got a problem of booze, anything like that. So we wanted it in line. And again, the police said they were having active problems on the road. I want everyone to be as safe as possible, my family, your family, and every resident of New Hampshire as possible. And so if they keep the sealed container, if you have something and it's been opened, you put it in the trunk or the furthest reach away, like under the back seat. If you have a trunk like Senator French, you'd have it under the back seat as far as out of as possible. I'm not saying that you have anything, Senator French. I'm just saying it's someone with a truck like yourself. So again,
Thank you for calling me out, Senator.
it was in the interest of public safety and to treat marijuana, which does have a THC level and can impair your driving, treat it the same as we treat alcohol. No open containers.
Okay. Are there any other questions, concerns that anyone would like to discuss? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. We have an ITL motion on the bill. Okay, Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
No.
Senator French,
Yes,
okay, Senator Khan,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Senator Carson. No. Okay, so this is our first. No, I don't think is our first 3-2. Let's see. Senator Gannon, this is your bill. Would you like to
Yep.
write the floor remarks? Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Nope, sorry.
Wait.
Sorry. Nope, Senator Gannon voted on the not prevailing side.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
I
It
still
has to
want
be
to write
somebody.
them.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, wait a second. Okay.
I'll be happy
there-
to.
Okay,
Jen.
Senator French. Okay, there we go. Okay, the next bill we have is Senate Bill 92, which we have an amendment. This is amendment number 0362S. Jenny, if you'd like to put that up there. And Senator French, you are a co-author of this amendment, so would you like to speak to it?
Sure. So the changes, let me find them here. We added for criminal mischief, damages of less of more than $1,000.
Okay, yep,
See that? And then
Yeah.
we changed we added other charges that you can hold people for. You can see that in section 1. You see that?
mm-hmm,
Okay, for detaining people. And then we changed the appearance, so if you missed within 3 years twice, if you missed showing up for court twice within the last 3 years, then you can be held without bail.
okay.
And that was, those, I believe, were the changes.
Senator, I do believe there's one other change that's in the second section.
Okay,
That deals with changing, it said, I'm looking at line 27, where it says, or a reasonably equivalent offense in an out-of-state jurisdiction 3 or more times within the past 3 years. It had been 5. So
right.
that was the other change.
Okay, sorry, missed that.
Nope, that's okay. So, okay, Jenny, can we go back to, okay, thank you. So we have amendment number 0362S, I believe. Is that correct, Jenny? Okay, so is there a motion on this amendment?
Move on to pass.
Okay, there's a motion about to pass. Is there a second? Senator Gannon seconds. Okay, let's have a discussion on the amendment. Okay, Senator Whitley,
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator French, for working your attempts to work on the bill to make it a better bill. I think it's still highly problematic, and here's why. I think that it's well intentioned to want to keep working on this so we get it right, but I feel like this bill and even the amendment is incredibly one-sided, and really seeks to undo years of bipartisan work and bipartisan agreements. We got everyone to the table, folks agreed on what was best, and I feel like this bill, even as amendment, will just wipe that all away. I will note that last week, Senator Bradley pulled a bill off of consent because moved to ITL it because he perceived it as a one-sided bill. And so I think this is the same case of this bill. It's particularly troubling to me because this body formed a bail commission to work through the issues on bail reform, because it's such an important public safety and, justice issue. And the work of this bail commission was, we would be ignoring it if we passed this bill, even as amended. The commission met repeatedly and even produced a report as recently as November 2020. The bill and amendment proposed here is in no way reflective of the work that came from that bipartisan commission after hearing from all the stakeholders and the public. So the facts are that this bill and the amendment would result in people being detained pre-trial while they are presumed innocent, without important considerations for the unique circumstances of their case. We heard significant testimony that pretrial detention risks people losing their jobs, their housing, and even losing custody of their children. And more importantly, right now, they also face the risk of exposure to COVID-19. Even 24 hours of detention can be life-altering for some folks. So I would just really caution my colleagues against legislating based on, anecdotal evidence. We heard some strong stories, but, some of it are just that, just anecdotal evidence. And I think we should be legislating from data and facts. And the exceptions to this important reform, that we heard the testimony. I'm not saying, I don't want to discount the horrible stories that we did hear, but those exceptions to how well the bail reform is really working should not create this broad sweeping rule that would ensnare defendants without means, right, who are not dangerous. So the last thing I want to point out is that after a long and overdue national reckoning on racial justice that last summer, we as a state and as a body, I think, should be working hard to reduce the impacts of systemic racism, looking at reforms to our criminal justice system, ending mass incarceration. And I feel like this bill takes us backwards, including the amendment, and it doesn't reflect the work of this committee and other bills to build a fairer and more equitable state. So I can't support the bill as originally written nor as amended.
Okay, thank you, Senator Whitley. Senator Khan, then Senator French.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have continuing concerns about the presumption of guilt and the necessity for detention. I appreciate the efforts that were made to try to address that, but I continue to have those concerns. I also heard in the testimony that in this COVID time that our colleague just referred to, resulted to electronic appearances. And folks had testified that as a result of electronic appearances, the show rates in pretrial hearings was improving. And I think that's evidence that we should continue to look to that means of appearance and factor that into what we do on pre-trial detention. I don't think we've done that in this yet, and I think we should have the evidence come forward. So I hope I would be voting against SB 92. I would think that it's worthy of retention so that that evidence could inform a decision in the next year.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator Khan. Senator French.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I do appreciate my colleagues' input. I voted for bail reform a couple years ago, as a lot of Senator Khan did, I'm sure, and others. For 2 years since then, we've heard of problems that arose from that sweeping legislation, and we passed that so we didn't have people languishing in jails while awaiting trial because they couldn't afford a $50 payment. And it was a great thing to do. It really was. Our jails emptied out quite a bit, but there were problems with it. And when I see this bill, with the amendment, I feel it's I'm looking to achieve a balance between what we did and what we had. And I think this bill gets close to it, if not perfect. So I will be supporting this bill and the amendment.
Thank you, Senator French. Are there any further comments, any further questions? Okay, we have an ought to pass motion on Amendment 0362S. I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
No.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Okay, Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
No.
Senator Carson? Yes. Okay, the amendment passes 3-2. Can I get a motion on Senate Bill 42 as amended?
I move on to pass.
Okay, Senator French moves ought to pass as amended, seconded by Senator Gannon. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
No.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
No.
Senator Carson? Yes. The bill passes 3-2. Senator French, would you like to take this one out as well?
Really? You gonna
Yeah.
trust me with it?
Yeah, you're on the amendment. Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Foolish.
No, silly. Okay, next we have Senate Bill 93, FN. And there is no amendment on this bill. I deliberately did not get an amendment on this bill because there are two small edits that have been suggested by Mr. Richard Head, who works with the courts. And I just couldn't see going through to getting an amendment for two small word edits that we could do here in the committee. So if you were to take a look at the bill on section 1, page 1, lines 13 through 12, section B, it says a ground exists for termination of parental rights for both parents or for only one parent if the other parent is deceased or not identified under one or more paragraphs of RSA 170-C:5. And the addition here is a colon and the word or. The second edit is on section 4, page 2, lines 28 through 37. In section B, it says at an early permanency hearing pursuant to subparagraph I, parent F, the court shall determine whether the department has proven clear and convincing evidence that both parents or only one parent, if the other parent is deceased or not identified, cannot currently satisfy the standard of return of the child under RSA 169-C:23 and would be highly unlikely to satisfy such standard at the time of a 12-month permanency hearing, such that, and the next two words, "and early," is crossed out. So it would go on to say that such permanency should be assessed early based on parents making no effort. So again, those are just two very small, really edits that have been requested. So I am proposing that we create a committee amendment addressing those two edits. Senator Khan, I have a motion. Is there a second to do that?
I will second.
Okay, Senator Khan. Okay, are there any questions on the proposed committee amendment? Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes,
Senator Khan?
Yes,
And Senator Carson? Yes. Okay, is there a motion on the bill as amended? So that would be an ought to pass as amended. Senator Whitley? You moves ought to pass as amended. Is there a second? Senator Khan? Okay. Okay. Is there any discussion on the bill as amended? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
yes,
Senator Khan?
yes,
And Senator Carson? Yes. Okay, is there a motion for a consent calendar?
I'll move consent.
Okay, Senator Khan moves consent. Is there a second? Senator Whitley? Senator French? Okay, so we have a motion for the consent calendar. Hey, we like to have fun in this committee. I mean, we deal with very serious issues. So, okay, so we have a motion for the consent calendar. I'm going to go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
yes,
Senator Khan?
Yes,
And Senator Carson? Yes. And Jenny, I will do this one, okay? Okay, next we have Senate Bill 95. This one has an amendment, and I believe that it is my amendment. It is Amendment 0666S. Jenny, would you like to put that up, please? Thank you. This amendment reflects the discussion, some of the discussions that we had during the public hearing. The first two parts, it had three parts to it. The first was governing bodies meeting virtually. The second was remote access to meetings. The third was penalties for violation of privacy. There were no problems or anything with the violation of privacy. The only issue was within the first two sections. They were reflective of each other. And I've decided that I would like to propose that we do establishing a committee to review authorized governing bodies of municipalities to hold virtual meetings and to study remote access to meetings under RSA 91A, which were really the topics of those two sections. I think that if we were to pass something now, we're not going to see how it ends up when this is all over. I think if we had a study committee, we're going to be able to look at the totality of having these types of meetings and whether or not we really want to continue to do them. And if we do, under what circumstances. And I thought the best thing to do was wait until, then in the summer, and at that point, take it up and just study what the experience has been, good or bad, before we enact anything. So I've changed, this amendment reflects that. It does create a study committee, and then it just continues on for part 2 now is relative to penalties for violation of privacy. Okay, can we go back to the regular screen? Okay, Senator Whitley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my understanding is that Senator Perkins Quokka and Senator Daniels were coming together to negotiate an agreement, and I thought they had worked on an amendment. So that's my understanding, and I believe Senator Perkins Quokka is available on the call if we want to bring her on to speak to the amendment they negotiated.
We don't have an amendment in front of us, Senator. I never received a copy of any amendment, any agreement from either Senator Perkins Quokka or from Senator Daniels.
So
So-
Senator, I do believe we received that one back during when the bill was presented.
Okay, all right, I see that, but that just has Senator Perkins Polka's name on it.
That's correct.
It does not have Senator Daniels' name on it at all.
Perhaps she
So-
can speak to their agreement, though.
I don't know if, because we're discussing this right now. I don't want to open this up for everybody to now start talking in about it. Senator Whitley, do you want to speak to that amendment? I mean, we haven't taken any kind of motion on Senate Bill 95. We're just talking about why don't we do this? We have, now I'm trying to think here, what's the best thing to do?
I guess I'm just not comfortable, if we have an amendment, I just want to hear from Senator Perkins Polka and Senator Daniels if they have an agreed upon language. And before we vote on anything, I want to get that. I think we have the amendment number that Jenny referred to as 0470S. Yeah.
But the problem is we only have Senator Perkins Polka, we don't have Senator Daniels. So,
Is Senator Daniels on the call? He could come on.
I don't know. Is he, Jenny? No.
Could we bring Senator Perkins Polka on to see if that's agreed upon language and just sort of speak to us what happened here?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? For right now, we'll just take my amendment 0666S and lay it to the side, and we'll hear from Senator Perkins Polka. This is not testimony. I just would like her to speak to the agreement that she has with Senator Daniels.
Yes, ma'am. And I know you're trying to get through a lot today. I just wanted to clarify that Amendment 0470S reflects conversations that Senator Daniels and I had together. And then with the New Hampshire Municipal Association, it's language agreed between the three of us, and it consolidates parts 1 and parts 2 of the bill, of the original bill, as you made reference to, Chairwoman, in a way that both Senator Daniels and I and the NHMA were comfortable with.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Senator Perkins Polka. Okay, so we do have this amendment 0470S. Okay, so we'll take this one up first, and then if this fails, then we'll take up the other. Okay, Jenny, can we go back to the other screen? Because this was, I believe this was probably handed out close to the public hearing. Okay, so is there a motion on this? Senate Bill? Okay, Senator Whitley.
Mhm.
Okay, moves ought to pass. Senator Khan moves seconds.
And just to be clear, that's on Amendment 0470S. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. So are there any questions or comments? I still strongly believe that it's a little early to pass legislation concerning remote meetings. I think we need to study this to make sure this is the right thing for New Hampshire. We did this because of COVID-19 and the need to have these meetings. But I have, in conversations with constituents there's a real concern that many municipalities will just go to remote hearings and there won't be in-person meetings anymore. So I do think we need to really take our time and look at this very carefully. I appreciate the work of Senator Perkins Polka on this, but I think it's a little early to put this actually into law. So we have an ought to pass motion on amendment number 0470S. Is there any further discussion? Senator Whitley.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I respect those concerns. But I do think, just giving municipalities the option is really important. I mean, we know a lot of, our vulnerable folks, our elderly population, our people with disabilities really feel like they have additional access. So giving municipalities the option, I think is really important. And particularly when we have a bipartisan compromise that's supported by the New Hampshire Municipal Association, I think it's something that we should move forward.
Okay, thank you, Senator. And I appreciate your comments, but I'd also like to bring out that a lot of people do not necessarily have access to computers. They don't, the broadband we know in New Hampshire needs a lot of work. So, you know, you've got to try to balance that out as well. How do you compensate for that? And under what's the circumstances under which a municipality will switch from an in-person to a remote hearing. Those are things I think that need to really be fleshed out before, again, we pass this into law. So, okay, we have an ought to pass motion on Amendment 0470S. Senator Khan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just relate very quickly my experience during these last 6 months, 12 months, and then last evening. I've attended, I don't know how many school board and town meetings electronically. I've never seen such public participation. I was on a meeting last night with the school board. It's got 1,000 students, and it filled 6 screens. There were over 100 people listening in on that meeting. But they would never, ever. I've been to their school board meetings. 40 people would be a crowd. To have had 100 people, I thought was, it just really took me. This is what I think we're accomplishing by allowing the electronic participation, both for the public and for members of the public body. So I think if this is something that, and I'm sure the Municipal Association has weighed in on this.
Right.
The senators they've got different experiences, but bring both their thoughts together on this. I think it's a valuable amendment. I'm glad to support it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further comments on the amendment to Senate Bill 95, which is 0470S? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
No.
Senator French, Senator French?
Wow, I was muted.
Yes.
That would be no.
Okay. Senator Khan?
Yes.
Okay, Senator Carson, no. Okay, so the amendment fails. The next amendment that we have is Amendment 0666S.
I move on to pass.
Okay, Senator French moves on to pass. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, I've already introduced this. I think we've already had some discussion. Jenny, can we go back to the other screen? Is there any further discussion on Amendment 0666S? Okay, seeing none, the clerk will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
No.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
No.
Senator Carson, yes. So this passes 3-2, and I will take this to the floor, Jenny. I just wanted to also point out in this amendment, there are 2 members from the Senate. So instead of the usual 1, because this is a very important issue. Okay, let me just write this down. We are going to skip over the next bill and hold that one till the end, which is Senate Bill 96. Okay, next we have, and we're going to hold the following one, Senate Bill 110, just because of late amendments that came in this morning. So I want to make sure folks have the opportunity to look at both of these before we actually have a discussion on them. The next we have is Senate Bill 122, and this one has a few amendments. What I tried to do is take the amendments that we had received and put them all into one bill. So the first part, this is Amendment 0671S. Part 1 relative to the impaired driver education. This was amendments that I had received from Senator French. I believe that is 0279S. The other section, I believe, is, and I'm going through here, guardianship of by grandparents is fine. I believe the next one is Part 4 relative to immunity from arrest or prosecution for prostitution, for seeking medical assistance for reporting crimes. This was an amendment that was brought in by Senator Ward. And Part 5 was increasing the penalty for harming a service animal and making changes to the membership of the Council on Autism Spectrum Disorders. So this bill replaces, this amendment replaces the whole bill. I will tell you that I removed Section 3 concerning the bail commissioner fees. There seemed to be no impetus from the bail commissioners to increase their fee. If you look at the public testimony that we received, they were universally against it, that they felt it was more important that we concentrate on how they're getting paid rather than how much they were getting paid at this point. And there are bills that we are going to be receiving from the House that addresses that that issue. So if at any point we agree on all of this, we can increase in one of the House bills the bail commissioner fee. So I removed that section. Okay, so we have Amendment 0671S. Is there a motion? Is this confusing for folks?
No, just,
I'm not sure what is different in the amendment.
All the amendment does was it took the amendments that I received from Senator French and Senator Ward, putting them into one amendment instead of having 4 or 5 different pieces of paper flying around. It removed Section 3 and then kept the other sections that that were part of the bill that were important.
I move on to pass.
Okay, so Senator French moves ought to pass. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, let's have a discussion. Is there any comments on the proposed amendment? Okay, seeing none. I will go ahead and call the roll on Amendment 0671S. Senator Whitley?
Yes.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
yes.
Senator Khan? I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you. Yes, okay.
Yes.
Senator French?
Yes,
And Senator Carson, yes. Okay, can I get a motion on Senate Bill 122 as amended?
move on to pass as amended.
Okay, Senator French moves on to pass as amended. Is there a second? Senator Gannon seconds. Is there any discussion on the bill as amended? Okay, seeing, Senator Whitley, you look like you wanted to say something. I'm
No,
not,
no, sorry. There's another question on 95, but we can go back to it after this. Sorry about that.
okay. Okay, Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes,
and Senator Carson. Yes. Is there a motion for the consent calendar?
there is.
Okay, are you making a motion, Senator French?
I did.
Okay, all right. Is there a second? Senator Gannon. Okay, is there any discussion on the consent calendar motion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the roll. Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes,
and Senator Carson. Yes, and Senator French, would you like to do this one as well?
sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
So
welcome.
much.
We're gonna keep you busy next week.
Senator Carson,
Yes,
Senate Bill 95, we actually only voted on the amendments. We never voted on the bill as a whole. So we just need to go back and finish voting on
I
95.
thought we did that. Okay, nope, I thought we did. Okay, sorry. All right, let's go back to Senate Bill 95. The motion would be ought to pass as amended. I have my name written down here. I was pretty sure
Yeah,
we did.
We had too many amendments going on and.
Okay, well, that's
Final.
what I tried to do, is try to control a lot of these amendments. So thank you, Jenny, for keeping me
Well,
straight
Devin
and on my toes.
Deb and
So-
Senator Whitley get credit, so they caught it, not me.
Okay, so we have Senate Bill, we have Senate Bill 95 as amended. Is there a motion on Senate Bill 95 as amended?
Pass.
Okay, Senator French moves ought to pass. Is there a second? Senator Gannon seconds. Okay, are there any discussions on the bill as amended? Senator Whitley?
Yeah, I will just say, I will be voting against this, but just because we were in a situation where we had a bipartisan agreement. Senator Perkins Quokka,
Mhm.
Senator Daniels worked together. They worked with the municipal association. We heard from our municipalities that they wanted this, that it worked for them, that it gave folks option, it increased participation. So I'm just disappointed that we're sort of sweeping aside all that work. And that's why I'll be voting against this bill as amended.
Thank you very much, Senator. Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll. Oh, Senator French?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just going with the, with my position, because I think this is a great way to slow walk important legislation that changes the way we do business. So by slow walking it a little bit, we'll get it right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so I will go ahead and call the roll. Senator Whitley?
No.
Okay, Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
No.
Okay, Senator French?
Yes,
And Senator Carson? Yes, this is 3-2. And Jenny, I will take this one to the floor. Okay. Okay, next we have Senate Bill 134. And there are amendments on this one as well. I believe I've gotten everything into one amendment, which is amendment number 0691S. And I will be more than happy to walk you folks through it. The first section comprises a proposed amendment we received from Representative McBeath concerning the revised uniform law on notarial acts and uniform real property electronic recording act. The second section of the bill, which is section 3, excuse me, I should have said second, or I should say the second change is in section 3, which is incarceration under suspended sentence. This is language that was agreed to by the Commissioner, the Department of Corrections, and Mr. Joseph Lacaze from the ACLU. And amend Part 5, which is procedures for structured settlements. This was an agreement between the parties on how to go ahead and do this. And let me find the original amendment. I will note that there was one individual who had difficulty. That person did testify against the bill. But all the other parties agreed. I'm looking for that amendment, I'm sorry, so that way I can read the exact language that was requested, the change. What did I do with it? This bill is one of those bills that had so many pieces of paper flying around it. I actually should have put up a whiteboard where I could have kept track of who was doing what. Let's see. Okay, here we go. The structured settlement, the one change is in section 11, which says that the payee has the right to negotiate the purchase price offered by the transferee, and the payee is advised to obtain competing offers from other potential transferees. And the second change is under 408 G:5, procedure for approval of transfers, section 3, which reads, in determining whether a transferee is in the payee's best interest under RSA 408 G:3, section I, the court shall consider among matters whether the payee has compared competing offers for the structured settlement payments rights that the payee proposes to transfer. And since that is a new section, they just renumbered section 3 to section 4. And I'm looking here.
Senator Carson, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I just ask a question about that? I think there's some confusion about that portion. So I
Okay.
think it sounds like your intent was to reflect the agreement of the parties, but I think what we have here is what the judiciary requested rather than the agreement of the parties.
Aha. Okay. Let me see. This is,
Section
Okay.
4.
yeah, that shouldn't be that way.
Right.
You're dead on, Senator Whitley.
Yeah, you're right. I
Wow,
missed
you're
that.
right for once, Senator Whitley.
Please,
Okay.
write
Good.
it down, guys. Take a
Keep it
picture,
up.
write it down.
Okay.
If she wasn't on that one, I was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That's
looking at that and I'm
inconsistent.
reading this, I'm going, oh, wait a minute, what happened here? Okay, so what we can do is we can remove this section and it'll have to be a floor amendment, which I really don't want to do. But we've got to make sure that we get it right. I don't know how that happened. But again, there were so many amendments that were flying back and forth on this particular bill. Yes,
Madam Chair, we might not even need an amendment. I think we're good as it was originally introduced. That reflected the agreement of the parties.
okay, that very well could be.
I can.
Okay, but
Again, right on.
okay, well, hey, it's always good to have a second set of eyes on this.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so we can amend the amendment because it ends up being a committee amendment and we can pull that section out. Next, the next section that was changed was part 11 relative to employer access to motor vehicle records. Again, this reflects an agreement between the parties. And thank you, Senator Whitley, for catching that. That one just went right by me.
This was a big one, a lot in there.
Yeah, this is a big one. The other thing in this bill that, well, we need to look at the amendment. So we'll take up the amendment first, which is 0691S. We'll have to, Jenny, we'll have to have a committee amendment to remove that part 5, replacing removing from lines 11 to 31. So that is a proposed committee amendment. Okay.
Okay.
So the other thing before we finalize a committee amendment is section 10, which is interference with the enjoyment of a dwelling place. This one had to deal with the drones. We've seen this legislation before, and part of the problem is that drones are governed under the federal government. We have no control over them whatsoever. And so I understand what the senator wants to do here, but I don't believe we can do it. And like I said, we've had this before and it's failed because of federal preemption. So I'd like to include that in a committee amendment, Jenny, where we're just removing section 10. Okay, so what we have in front of us is a committee amendment that would remove, we would adopt, let's see, amend part 2 of the bill from line 1. We would continue on. We would remove on page 2, lines 11 through 31. They're just taken out completely. And then we would go on to remove part 10. And then we would have part 11. Does everybody understand?
I just want to make sure that the agreement, so we're not going to go off of this amendment you presented. We're just going to make the changes piecemeal.
Yes.
Okay, so
This
just,
is what I didn't want to have happen.
no, right.
Because, yeah, I mean, because it does, it's, you know what, I have a good idea. Why don't we take this, we were already gonna hold off on 2. Why don't we hold off on 3 and we'll come back and pick this one up, okay? We'll take a break and try to figure out how to get this done.
I was going to say that just on that piece, you know, the agreement that you, on the suspended sentence piece, the
Mhm.
agreement that you reflected in your amendment, we actually do have a separate amendment. So we could just vote on that portion. I submitted another amendment that we should have in the file. Jenny, if you pull up that number, it's just.
Okay,
on that-
Jenny, I don't have that. I don't believe I have that. So all I have is the agreement that I had, that was gotten through Commissioner Hanks and with Mr. Lacaze.
Yeah, that was the amendment that Jenny's pulling up. It's 0472S, reflecting that agreement between the Department of Corrections and Mr. Lacaze.
Okay, all right, that's a separate, okay. I didn't know that you had done that. So all I had was the email from the commissioner telling me that this was happening. So I think this is a good exercise that if you have amendments, that you have to make sure that I see them, that I've received them, because I don't have a copy of this.
I believe I sent it to the entire committee.
Yeah, I don't have it, Rebecca, I'm sorry, Senator Whitley. I have a stack of papers here and that is not included in what I have in this bill. So, so we're just gonna leave that there. I would hate to, because we're gonna just put this aside for a second, for a few minutes so we can get our bearings on this. I don't want to take, I really don't want to vote on this bill and then come back to it. I'd rather just vote on it and talk about it all at once so people don't get confused. So I'm just going to recommend, we're just going to put this one here and we can come back to it. Senator Khan?
Procedurally, sorry, I just want to clarify procedurally. So we will be voting on one amendment at the very end that will be the committee amendment that the committee is going to adopt.
Right.
So whether, you know, however we craft that amendment, that's going to be one amendment that we adopt.
Yeah, and that's why I would like to just put this aside for right now, because we've got to figure out how to craft this. So that's all. So we just have one bill left, which is Senate Bill 141. There are no amendments on this bill. So,
Sorry.
okay, Senator Khan?
Understand the chair's intent on 134. I do need to raise that there is another amendment. It is 382. It was presented on the day of the hearing it is for part 8 and was presented by Ms. Diane Fenton. It is in the OneDrive folder. And she spoke to that during the hearing. So I hope that as we come back on this, that we can consider that amendment.
Okay, that's, again, Senator, that's why I would just like to hold off on this one. Let's get our bearings. There's a number of different pieces of paper flying around. We just need to come together, come to an agreement, and just get all these papers together. I don't have that one either. So it is just the way that it is right now. So, okay, so the last bill that we're going to take up before we take a break is Senate Bill 141. There are no amendments on this. Is there a motion on Senate Bill 141? Senator
Ought to
Gannon?
Ought to
Okay,
pass.
there's an ought to pass motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Senator French, is there any discussion on Senate Bill 141? Senator Whitley?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I won't be supporting this bill. I just do not feel there are adequate protections or assurances that the federal system can adequately protect victims of domestic violence. And I think, we need to weigh that delay in with if it can save a life, right? And I just think if, as a body, we are really concerned about public safety, I would really urge my colleagues to vote no on this bill.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further comments? Senator Khan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't think this is a partisan issue here. I think what I heard from the Department of Safety is significant changes that they implemented in December. It sounds like they have made improvements to the system, and even those that proposed the amendment indicated the case. I think whether we re-refer or we ITL this, I think the department is acting in a proper way. I think there are advantages to the way that this was proposed, and I think, the way that this has been transformed. And I think that the transfer of responsibility to the county sheriffs really went unaddressed. I don't understand the costs, the flow, and the implications of that. This is not a good idea to be voting to pass this at this point in time. So I just hope my colleagues will give consideration to the testimony that we've heard and the opportunity to hear more in the future.
Okay, Senator. Senator Whitley, thank you, Senator Khan. Senator Whitley?
Yeah, and I believe the bill was also opposed by the chiefs, and so I just wanted to make that known also.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Are there any comments? Any further comments? Senator Gannon?
I found this an undue burden on people's Second Amendment rights. I feel someone in a domestic issue, a woman looking to get a handgun quickly, she could get a rifle the same day if she had a clean record. I don't think it's fair to put someone in a place where if they're clean record and they're able to get the gun, I think it should be, and that they feel it's going to protect them. I think it's their right to take away this unduly burdensome delay that we've had over the last few years. And it's a burden on your Second Amendment rights, one of our most important rights. And I think the gun line should go. And we're wasting state troopers' time. We have 8 state troopers who have been working on this. We can get the FBI to do it for free. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Senator Khan?
We don't have any idea what the downshifting of responsibilities are to the counties on this.
Okay.
I don't buy the savings. I just see the costs being dispersed to departments that don't have the capacity to absorb it. And we haven't tested that idea. There's nobody from the sheriff's departments who came and said, "Oh, great idea." I don't think this is ready, and
Okay.
I'm surprised that we'd be moving at some breakneck speed on this, given the progress that's been made and the lack of information.
Okay, thank you, Senator Khan. Are there any further comments? Okay, seeing none, we have an ought to pass motion. I will call the roll. Senator Whitley?
No.
Senator Gannon?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
No.
Senator French?
Yes.
And Senator Carson, yes. So this passes 3-2. Senator Gannon, would you like to take
Sure.
this one for the floor?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to put the committee in recess until
5.
No, 3
Oh,
o'clock.
okay. No, I didn't
We'll
know.
come back, yeah, no, we'll come back at 3 o'clock. And we'll finish up the last 3 bills that we have, which is Senate Bill 134, Senate Bill 110, and Senate Bill 96. Okay, we'll see you all at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Everyone stay healthy.
Yeah, you too, Jay.
It's Jenny. Jenny left already. Oh, wow, okay.
No,
Um,
Senator, what do
I,
you- Hi,
yeah,
Senator.
I don't have that amendment. I think the one Senator Khan referred to that had to do with Part 8 on Senate Bill 134.
I'll send it to you right now, Senator.
Yeah, send it to me. And there was, yeah, okay. I just need to go over 134 and figure out what happened, why that was put in there. I have no clue. So we'll figure it out, Jenny.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Okay, thank you.
Senator.
0728S. Is there a motion on that particular amendment? Senator Khan?
Madam Chair, I'm trying to sort through. Could I change my vote on that last amendment? I'd like to vote no. My concern is, and why I'm going to do that is, I think that the membership is very narrow on that.
Okay, all right, well, we would have to take a vote to reconsider the vote
would-
on that amendment. So Senator Khan makes a motion.
I can't do that. I voted majority. I can do that.
Yes, you can. So are you making a motion to reconsider the vote on the proposed amendment? Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Senator French. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the roll for reconsideration. Senator Gannon,
No.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, so we're going to reconsider the vote on that section, that amendment from 0728S concerning the study committee. The prevailing motion was ought to pass. And so Senator Khan, you've explained yourself. So I'm hoping we don't need any additional discussion. Okay, so I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
No.
Senator Whitley,
No.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. So that section of 0728S is adopted. Okay, so we have this last particular section considering judges to receive annual training. That is in 0728S. Is there a motion on that language?
So just a clarification, the difference from the bill as introduced is that you're just removing the rulemaking?
No, it adds the court, the administrative judge. I'm looking here, trying to find where it went. Okay, body worn cameras. Okay, here we go. It says the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, with the advice and consent of the Chief Justice of the Superior Court and the administrative judge of the Circuit Court, shall encourage the justices and judges of all courts in New Hampshire to receive annual training covering the topics of implicit bias and racial profiling. That is the proposed amendment. And then it says in section 3, in carrying out the duties imposed by this section, the Chief Justices may seek the advice and assistance of all persons and bodies interested in the administration of justice in New Hampshire. And then it goes on to say, including but not limited to those listed in RSA 490-A:2.
So the original version of the bill also had a sentence that said such rules shall be issued no later than January 1st, 2021, and maybe executed by Chief Justice of the Judiciary.
The amendment that I received from the court is this particular language here that is within 0728. If they've crossed it out, then they didn't want it. Jenny's going, yes, yes.
We did receive communication, the committee did receive communication from Richard Hood at the department requesting these changes so that it's in line with their current training. And so instead of, I mean, I can read to you the letter that he wanted, they submitted if you would like. So, I mean, essentially skipping to the part, it's not current practice of the judicial branch to develop training programs through rules as it would be required by current language in Senate Bill 96. Instead, training programs have developed by the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Superior Court, and or the administrative judge of the Circuit Court. The proposed amendment to Section 12 that is attached to this letter is in line with current practice, accounts for the fact that the judicial branch is already incorporated implicit bias training into its programs and is in line with how the rules for the judicial branch are prolonged, and is consistent with the recommendation of the Lee Act Commission.
So I would just note that, all the training provisions for the police have to go through rules. And so this is just sort of, which of course gives you an extra layer of transparency and opportunity for public input. So this is sort of removing the opportunity for public input. I understand that they don't currently do rulemaking for training. I fully understand that. And, I have no disagreement with that. But rulemaking does give that extra layer of transparency, so the public is aware of the training that is happening. And so it is consistent with the Lee Act Commission to, make sure that everything that is involved is transparent. So I would say that we could add back, I would request that we add back in that rulemaking. I think the date is sort of off, but I would add back in that rulemaking.
It's my understanding that the court goes through a different type of rulemaking. And Mr. Lehman, can you weigh in on this?
What's the exact question? What the court does or what police agencies do for rulemaking?
No, what does the court, the court, they have their own way of doing their rules,
The
correct?
court has a committee on rules that adopts the court's own rules. At the same time, as a matter of comedy, the court typically will defer to legislation that has to do with adopting rules that define the rights of litigants. The interplay between legislative action and court adoption of its own rules is sort of complicated and not always real clear where the bright lines are.
Okay. Well, this is the language that the court recommended. So I know we're talking about we've got three separate branches of government here. So I just want to be careful about what we're doing, about adding that language back in. So I think, I don't know, what do you folks want to do here?
I want it to pass as it is.
Okay, Senator Khan?
Let me address a different issue. If did you want further input on that? We heard from Senator.
Okay, all right. Let it fly, Senator. What do you got?
Okay. There's another difference between these two, the original motion or the original bill and the amendment. And it's it says in the original on page 3 in line 29 that the judges of all courts in New Hampshire to receive at least 2 hours of annual training covering the topics of implicit bias and racial profile. This is a quite different wording. It says shall encourage. I recall asking specifically, and somebody from the courts answering specifically, that this body of training is quite new, and it's going to be evolving as it's implemented with better information, better statistics and evidence about how bias and racial profiling appears in our law enforcement and court proceedings, and what the training ought to be. I don't think that this is something that we shall encourage. We're either going to do this with 2 hours of training. We're requiring this of the police, that there be annual training. So I don't know why we are retreating on our courts when we're imposing an annual requirement on law enforcement.
Okay. Thank you, Senator. I went back and I took a look at the information presented from the judicial branch, and they proposed the amendment, which is what we have in front of us, and which is in line with actual practices in the court in terms of training. He said that the amendment also recognizes that for several years now, the judicial branch has been doing implicit bias training for its judges. And the branch determines training not through rulemaking, but through collaboration between the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Superior Court, and the administrative judge of the Circuit Court. It was his understanding that the Department of Justice has no objection to this amendment. You had asked if there is annual implicit training. And he believed that training that is being done and has been done for a number of years on a regular basis for sitting judges and is part of onboarding for new judges. It is an evolving training that gets revised as more research on this is done. And I think why they removed the 2 hours, because if we put 2 hours in statute, they're going to have to come back if they want to get more than 2 hours, or they're going to require more than 2 hours worth of training. They're going to have to change it legislatively because we have it in statute. Senator French?
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion of ought to pass, and I like the fact that it says shall encourage the justices. If our justices did not take this 2 hours of training as was before offered, what would we do? Throw them out of office or not allow their decisions to be upheld because they didn't get the training? I think we should leave it up to the courts to do what they do best. And so I support this amendment as it's written here.
Okay. Senator Whitley?
I do not support as amended for a lot of reasons. We're taking away the 2 hours, which again was language agreed by the Liat Commission. We're taking away the requirement that these judges have this training, and we're taking away all legislative authority. If we kept in the 2 hours and got rid of the requirement for rulemaking, that would be fine. But just giving the court complete discretion, I think, does not support the thrust of all this work here. And that's the legislature's job, right? This is a policy decision. I don't know why the courts get broader discretion than anyone else when it comes to this issue.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions about this particular section, this particular amendment being added to a committee amendment? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Oh, yes, Jenny?
Sorry, I think only Senator Gannon's made a motion. I'm not sure if I missed.
No, Senator French seconded it.
If you were paying attention, you would have known that.
Oh, I know, Senator. I know.
Okay, all right. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
No.
Senator Whitley,
No.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Okay, we have a complete committee amendment here for Senate Bill 96 that is comprised of a number of different amendments that we have received, people have worked on. So is there a motion on the committee amendment? Yes,
So
Jenny.
can we go over it quickly? I know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I
You haven't
know.
been paying
Okay.
attention.
There's
I
so
know you
much.
haven't.
I
I was hoping that we could get by this.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Are
So
you-
section 1, we're not touching.
We're not
Off of the-
touching, that's fine. Section
Section-
2
Right.
includes, now I've got it written down, and it's
So
the
section-
amendment that adds in the language for the SROs for the MOU of understanding.
So I want to clarify that. So section 2 in the bill deals with municipal records of retired police officers.
Yeah, well, there was nothing concerning that either.
So we're leaving section 2, and then section 3 is the memorandum of understanding in the bill.
Correct. And I think part of the problem, Jenny, is I'm looking at the hearing report and they're not numbered correctly. So I
Right.
think you need to go back and fix that. So it's the next section has to do with the SROs. There's pieces of 2 different amendments. One concerns making the memorandum of understanding a public document. The next one is the study committee to study the role of the SRO and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
The next section deals with the dashboard camera, and that was changing, that amendment was adopted as well. The juvenile delinquency statutes stay the same. There was no amendment to that whatsoever. The next section concerning the race and ethnicity is optional information. The amendment, part of the amendment 0728S was adopted. And the last section requiring all judges to receive annual training, that section of 0728S was also adopted. That's the complete amendment.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, is there a motion on this amendment?
I move
committee
on to
amendment.
pass.
Okay, Senator French moves ought to pass. Is there a second? Senator Gannon seconds. Okay. Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Senator Khan?
Oh, I'm sorry. On the amendments, no.
No, on the committee amendment, the final amendment for the committee.
I have no further comments on the amendment. I would speak only to the bill as we.
Amended? Okay, terrific. Senator Whitley?
I would say there's just no way that I could support this committee amendment. There's some good things in there, but there are some massive things in there that just sweep away recommendations from the LEACT Commission. I mean, Senator Bradley spoke at length on the floor last week about the importance of these recommendations and that we need to stick with them. And, as a body, respect the work of this LEACT Commission. And I think this committee amendment does not respect the LEACT Commission, the members, the governor who created the commission, and I can't vote for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator. Okay, we're not ready to vote. We're ready to vote. Okay, Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
No.
Senator Whitley,
No.
Senator French,
Yes,
and Senator Carson, yes. So I need a vote on the bill as amendment. Is there a recommendation?
I move on to pass as amended.
Okay, is there a second? Seconded by Senator Gannon. Okay, is there any discussion on the bill as amended? We've had a lot of discussion this afternoon. Senator Khan,
We have indeed, Madam Chair. And
but that's good.
It's healthy, I guess.
Oh, no, this is what we're supposed to be doing, Senator.
Thank you. Then I'll continue, but briefly to say, I think we've weakened the bill. I think it was a stronger bill to begin with. And I think people who testified before us, which was many people, I hope that they'll continue to articulate their positions. It will give us greater guidance as we get this recommendation to the floor. This is important stuff. And I don't want to make light of how we've altered this. I think it's altered significantly, and I think to the disadvantage of many people who contributed to the recommendation. So I will be voting in favor because I think I want to honor the beginning roots of this bill, but I will argue against the amendments as they come to the floor to hopefully restore what the intention of the bill was originally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Senator Khan. Senator Whitley?
Yeah, I will say I'll be voting in support of the bill because it was intended, to really move the ball on police reform, and I want to honor the work in the bill that is really productive. But I do think we should be prepared to have this conversation on the floor and deal with a floor amendment that is respectful of all the work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any further comments? I will say that I think that the work has been respected. I find it very troubling that that word is being used in this conversation, because I believe all the work has been respected. We have looked at it, we have listened to everyone, and all we're saying is, look, there's some areas that need some additional work. And to have that characterized as disrespectful, I think is very concerning to me. And again, we can address that on the floor of the Senate. So we have a motion of ought to pass as amended, and I will go ahead and call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan.
I'm sorry, I'm voting yes. I'm voting yes.
So you are a yes.
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 Okay. Senator Whitley. You can't vote for him, Senator French. Senator Whitley.
Yes.
Okay, Senator French
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes.
Move
And I
consent.
will take this one out to the floor and look forward to a very spirited discussion. Okay, we have gone through all the bills that we have. So we have met our fiscal note deadline, and we
Senator
have.
Carson, you are amazing.
No,
Amazing to guide us
these
through like
amendments,
that.
these amendments are, and using this OneDrive, I just really don't like it. It's just awful. I look so much forward to us getting together and sitting in person and having these discussions. I think is really a very important part of this process. But we currently have 3 bills left before we start going on to the House bills. One is Senate Bill 94, Senate Bill 111, and Senate Bill 154. Those bills will be scheduled for hearings next week. And we are ahead of our deadline of April 1st. So hopefully we will be able to get those bills done well before April 1st. So I would like to thank you all for your work this afternoon. I really appreciate you hanging in here with what was probably a difficult at times executive session. I'd like to thank Mr. Lehman for hanging in there too. And Senator French, you did amazing today. No cigarettes, I didn't see. You didn't take a break. That was great. That was very good.
I found
Thank
it
you.
amazing that I could do that. I was chewing nicotine gum the whole time. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session? So moved by Senator Khan, seconded by Senator French. I will call the roll. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Can I get a motion to conclude our business for this afternoon?
Adjourn, Madam Chair.
Senator Whitley moves that we end this session. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Senator French, thank you. Okay, I will call the
We
roll.
agree on something, Senator French.
We agree on a lot.
Okay, Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Khan,
Yes.
Senator Whitley,
Yes.
Senator French,
Yes.
and Senator Carson, yes. Again, thank you very much. And many thanks to Jenny. We appreciate all